Well, as we've been mentioning, the opening ceremony takes place tomorrow, of course, but France has already been competing in the Rugby Sevens, where they recorded their first loss earlier on today. Leo McGuinn joins me in the studio. Tell us all about it.
Yeah, well, France, who were considered one of the favourites for gold before the tournament started, but they suffered a bit of a setback earlier on today at the Stade de France as they were beaten 19-12 by Fiji. Perhaps not much of a surprise, considering the Fijians won gold in Rugby Sevens in both 2016 and 2021, and they will be confident of making it 3 in a row. France have failed to impress so far in their home Olympics with a 12-12 draw against the USA. That loss earlier this afternoon was a real setback, and speaking yesterday, actually, Antoine Dupont said that the team need to raise their levels or they risk being knocked out sooner rather than later. Well, today's results mean that France will play Argentina in the quarter-finals. New Zealand will be taking on South Africa. Ireland face off against defending champions Fiji, and Australia play against the United States. France's match kicks off in just over an hour's time. Well, the games haven't even officially started, and we've already had our first world record. Si-hyeon Lim delivered an emphatic statement on Thursday that she is the woman to beat in Paris. The 21-year-old shot a world and Olympic record of 6.94 in the women's individual ranking round at the Esplanade des Invalides, breaking the previous record of 6.92. Lim leads a young Korean squad bidding for a 10th individual gold medal and 10th consecutive women's team gold. The Korean women are undefeated in the Olympic team event since it was introduced at the 1988 Games. Well, sticking with South Korea, an Australian swimming coach is in hot water for his comments promoting a top Korean swimmer over his own country's athletes. Michael Palfrey, who is part of the Australian coaching staff in Paris, has also worked with men's 400-metre freestyle world champion Kim Woo-min. During an interview on Tuesday, Palfrey told Korean media he hoped Kim would medal ahead of his Australian opponents. Palfrey was quoted as saying about Kim, "I really hope he can win, but ultimately I really hope he swims well," later adding, "Go Korea," a comment which has not been well received by his team.
His act was un-Australian. Mick is very Australian. Mick is a committed coach who works very, very hard. He's been committed to the sport for a long time and his athletes. He spoke and he made an error, and he owns that error. And I told him I don't appreciate it, and I don't think anyone up here appreciates what he said. It was an un-Australian comment. But does that mean that he's unworthy of looking after the 3 athletes he's coached for the last 3 years to this point, who rely on him to prepare them for the performance? That's what I've got to weigh up.
Staying in the pool, and Léon Marchand is France's big home hope. He will be favourite in the 400-metre medley after shattering Michael Phelps's 15-year-old record last year. The 22-year-old, trained by Phelps's old coach, is under huge pressure to live up to expectations and must raise his game after having a slightly disappointing year to date. The 5-time world champion will also be heavy favourite in the 200-metre medley and 200-metre butterfly as he bids to send the home fans wild. Speaking at a press conference, Marchand spoke about handling the pressure at such a young age.
It's a lot. It's not easy for me to manage. I'm only 22. I'm due back home for the Olympic Games in Paris, so obviously it's a lot. I think I've prepared myself mentally and I'm managing to handle the pressure well, for the moment anyway. I know it's going to get worse in the next few days before my first race.
Our journalists from around the world have been following athletes as they prepare for the Games as part of our 4 Corners of the World series. Today, it's the 4th and final episode following Colombian racewalker Eider Arévalo. In this episode, our team in Bogota tell us more about racewalking.
It's been a few days since Eider has slept well. The Olympic 20-kilometre race walk begins in 20 days' time, but he still hasn't recovered from a stress fracture to the sacrum, an injury from March that had him on crutches.
You can see a fairly large fracture in the left sacral wing. By strain, I mean a mechanical strain, as a percentage of the burden accumulates in the body.
Eider has assured his physio he's on track for Paris 2024, but with his years of experience, he also knows that pushing yourself can be dangerous.
It's what the past has taught me. I had an injury, we accelerated the healing process to get to the competition, and then I got injured again.
Decision made. It's time for him to break the news.
At this point, I would like to inform you all that we've taken the decision not to take part in the Paris 2024 Olympics. It was a difficult decision, but the most sensible one, given the time I have left to prepare.
Colombian media were quick on the uptake, and the news spread quickly. Eider is the only Colombian athlete withdrawing from the Olympic Games, but he says he feels liberated and can now reflect on his next steps.
We're only thinking about the future. We have the World Athletics Championship in Tokyo next year, and it's clear that the main and most important objective will be the next Olympic Games in Los Angeles in 2028. The important thing is to have a goal. And my goal has always been to take part in the Olympics and win a medal for my country. Yes, it's a difficult sport, a hard sport, where you have to do extraordinary things to get those great results. But it's my passion.
Whilst Eider's love for racewalking remains true, it won't be taking him to Paris this time around. His sights now remain firmly on his next Olympic shot in Los Angeles, 4 years away.
And just a note, make sure to join us tomorrow, 6:15 Paris time. We'll have our special opening show ahead of the opening ceremony, hour and 50 minutes with the one and only James Vecina. So make sure you tune in.
I can't wait. You'll be there, James will be there.
What a show.
What
more could you ask for?
Right? Well, that's it from us. Thanks so much for watching, and do stay tuned. There's plenty more to come.